I see Councilmember Whitburn is on the lights.
Thank you very much, Council President. Last Friday, federal agents conducted an immigration enforcement action at the Buena Fragata restaurant in South Park in my district. Many South Park residents are furious. Many San Diegans are furious. I'm furious at the unnecessary and alarming show of force that was deployed at a restaurant in a residential neighborhood. I would like to know the justification for sending that many agents, dozens of agents, wearing masks, carrying machine guns, handcuffing all of the workers, to execute a warrant for somebody who might be undocumented? Are you kidding? Everyone in these chambers knows that I support our law enforcement community. We have San Diego police officers and sheriff deputies out there every day taking real, known criminals into custody. And they do it without dozens of officers, without machine guns, and without handcuffing everybody in sight. I doubt there was any need for that many federal agents at the restaurant last Friday. And if there wasn't, why the big show of force? Was it to create fear? Was it to intimidate the residents who live in the area? Is that what we want our federal government doing? I'd like to know if the agents violated the constitutional rights of the American citizens who were working at the restaurant and indiscriminately handcuffed. I want San Diego to remain a city that values not only the rule of law, but fairness and humanity as well. I think that's what most San Diegans want. I am proud of the South Park residents, all the San Diegans, who have voiced their anger at what happened on Friday. And I would encourage all of us to make it clear that we consider those kinds of federal actions to be completely unacceptable. Thank you, Council President.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember Whitburn. Next up is Councilmember Elo-Rivera.
Thank you, Council President. I want to start by thanking Councilmember Whitburn for the repudiation of the actions that took place as a result of ICE agents invading the South Park neighborhood on Friday night. And I just want to add to that. I made a statement that I believed it was an act of terrorism, and I firmly believe that. The intent of that action, I do not believe had anything besides the desire to scare and terrify San Diegans and Americans into compliance with not just an agenda of villainizing immigrants and refugees, but all of us who are willing to stand up for democracy and the rule of law. What we saw in South Park on Friday was an amplified version of what we've been seeing since this administration came into office, where parents in my district have been pulled over on their way to dropping kids off to school, ripped out of their cars in front of their children, and deported or moved to detention. Where people in courthouses in this city have had the rug pulled out from under them in the midst of their legal proceedings, with immigration enforcement actions taking place in those courthouses when folks are showing up for their day in court and abiding by the law. And if we do not call these things out for what they are, which are acts of terror and fascism, it will only get worse. I think that there are people in San Diego who've had the idea that we can fly under the radar and we will not be targeted. I hope that what we saw on Friday was a wake-up call to everyone who had that hope, that that will not be the case. We ended up on a list from DHS as a sanctuary city, despite the city never taking an action to be a sanctuary city. This is the moment of truth. And if we're going to actually take a stand, this is the time. So thank you, Councilor Whitburn, for doing that, for standing up. I hope that the rest of us do the same, and it's not just those of us on this dais, it is everyone in San Diego. This is not okay, and we have to push back. So thank you, Council President, for allowing me to share a few words. I cannot stress enough how important I believe this moment is. And the last thing I will say is this. I am very, very sad that folks in South Park experience this. And it is so important for people to understand that there are people living in communities throughout San Diego who live in that fear every minute of every day and experience things like that on an alarmingly regular basis. And it is important that everyone who was outraged on Friday night stay outraged and not find that to be those actions and activities to be okay anywhere in this city. Thank you, Council President.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Elo-Rivera. We'll go next to Councilmember Von Wolpert.
Thank you. I want to thank my colleagues for their very eloquent speeches as well about all the horrible things that happened in North Park on Friday. Also this weekend, we were celebrating the beginning of Pride Month nationally and internationally. You know, here in San Diego, we celebrate Pride in July, so we get 2 months of celebrating Pride, which is great. But one of the things that we are also tracking nationwide is so far over 588 anti-LGBTQ bills have been introduced in state and local legislatures across this country this year. It's according to the ACLU, and I'm sure there are more we don't know of. And even here in our own backyard in San Diego County, the Cajon Valley School District voted a year and a half ago to remove the term LGBTQ from its sex ed curriculum on the auspices that, quote, normal parents will feel more comfortable. And Cajon Valley is within the county of San Diego. Rob Bonta has filed a lawsuit against them for discrimination. But even in our own backyards, we still have folks who are experiencing bigotry and hate because of our LGBTQ identity. So I was very proud to be celebrating the Equality Awards in Coronado on Friday night with Councilmember Whitburn, with State Senator Steve Padilla, and many other LGBTQ elected officials. We're not going to not celebrate Pride. It's something we love and something we're very proud of here in San Diego. And I'm very upset to hear about how the threats to federal funding that are going to come at us just because we simply choose to celebrate who we are. So we do need to stand up as a city and as a community and make sure that everyone knows that everyone here is included and loved. So thank you.
Not seeing anybody on the lights, I'll thank my colleagues for your comments about Friday night and add a few of my own. Traumatized, scared, outraged. That is what they want us to feel. They want us to fear that this could happen to our family, at our businesses, and while we're at dinner. Yet time and time again, actions that try to tear San Diego apart only make us stronger. We will investigate and we will denounce. Most importantly, we'll remember who did this. I thank the mayor for his outreach to HSI. We demand a public apology for an action done horribly wrong. Public safety means keeping everyone safe, and with respect, we expect no less.